Welcome, everybody, to episode 12 of the Bee Critics. Yes, that's right, 12 weeks divided by 4, that's 3, so this is the third month.
It's not. Stop doing that.
Why not?
Why don't you understand weeks?
It's because they're bad. They shouldn't be the way they are.
There are 52 weeks in a year. How do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, 52 weeks, 12 months.
Yeah.
Perfect. The math is all there. Hold on. The cat is getting into shit she needs not get into. That's right, cat.
She wants my cupcakes.
She does. She wants some cupcake magic. Oh, and now she's getting into the water bag. Perfect. She's gonna be a little garbage cat this entire time. I can already tell. Man. She's cat.
It's because I didn't give her enough attention when I got home.
Yeah, apparently. Alright. So we're just gonna spend this entire episode with me going back and forth between the kitchen and right here because this cat.
Be a good kitty now.
We actually have a pretty darn solid week of movies. Surprisingly, actually. I was not expecting this to be as decent of a week as it is. And we'll get on to that. But first, we have our Netflix movie to talk about. This is Private Life. A rather sullen, not horribly happy movie. But it's not, like, ultra depressing either. I don't know. It's a very strange movie. It's about a couple in their 40s who are not fertile at all. They're having just tons of troubles having a kid. And it's basically about their journey through fertility treatment and trying new things and being like, well, what should we do to get a baby? Do we want to adopt? Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that?
And yes, they want to do all of them.
Right. They've considered pretty much all of the above. And it's a dry movie. It's not huge with character, but it is a very insightful movie in terms of how somebody's life may be if they're going through fertility treatments, the doctor's visits, the stuff you have to endure, the different varieties of things you may try.
The stabbing.
The stabbing needles in everywhere, the getting poked around at the gynecologist's office.
Yeah, the girl has to do that all. Guy doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, instead the guy just has to nut in a cup and call it good.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, but why'd you just say it like that?
Would you have preferred I said
No!
Yeah, see? That's why I said it that way. There's no other way to say it.
You didn't have to say nut.
Okay, well, assuming that there was nothing else that you would have liked me to say either.
Everyone knows what the guy does, okay?
Yeah.
All the rest of the stuff has to happen to the poor woman.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh wait, except he got some procedure done on him or something.
They had to do some stuff. I can't remember. They both
Minimal.
had to do some stuff. Wow, geez, just downplay it. Yeah, they both had to do stuff. And yeah, it was just kind of a plotting movie. It was like a full 2 hours long. It was over 2 hours, actually.
Yeah.
It really felt like it was dragging after a while. It was like, I'm sorry, I can only watch two people on the verge of menopause bicker and argue about having a child for so long until I'm gonna tap out. Oh, what did you think? You're looking at me sideways as if I'm saying something you don't agree with.
No, I was just listening.
Oh, well, that's nice. Very
I
nice
don't
of
know.
you.
I don't know how you're going to talk about this for 15 minutes.
Yeah, let alone 20, which is, my preferred target.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a one-trick kind of film. It's a very minimalistic film. It's not, minimalistic in terms that it's just shot in, one set and that's all they use. But there's not a lot of music, and the music that is there is very it's just like little piano ditties every now and then. The acting is small. I was kind of both taken aback and pleasantly surprised at how unsexy and casual the nudity in this movie was. There was...
It was unsettling.
It was, which is like... just kind of like everyday regular, hey, we aren't gorgeous people, but here we are, we're just kind of naked kind of stuff. It was just really grounded nudity used. Tasteful nudity, if you would put it that way.
That makes it sound different.
Different? In what way?
I don't know. Tasteful's like side boob.
some nice tasteful side boob.
Yeah. This had more than side boob.
Yeah, it was weird. It was never in times that you really expected it either. It's just like, oh well, there's someone's bare ass, or more than that. It's just like, but yeah, like again, yeah, more than that. But again, it was very unsexy. It wasn't like to try to get you all in the mood or anything. If anything, you're like, oh, I feel like I shouldn't be here right now. Am I interrupting something?
Yeah, that was more like it.
What was honestly, I thought, a clever use of nudity in films, because usually it's used as, your basic fan service or your foreshadowing that someone's going to get killed. Hey, let's face it. If you have sex in a horror movie, you're dying. This is all there is to it.
No, not all the time.
Pretty much all the time.
In like teen movies, yeah.
Yeah.
Not in regular ones.
I'm talking like slashers specifically.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
Yeah. If it's a slasher movie and you're getting down and dirty with the birds and the bees, then you are definitely getting your head sliced off. What? Really? Yeah.
Could you have said that in any lamer of a way?
Yeah, I could have said,
I don't think you know what you're going to say.
I could have said having consensual sex in the missionary position for the sole purpose of recreation.
Recreation?
Procreation. Recreation. Sex now brings people back from the dead.
What?
That actually sounds like a premise for a dumb horror movie.
I bet it's been done.
Oh my
It's
god.
Disgusting.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's like the opposite of
It Follows.
Yeah. Not even It Follows. There was another movie I was thinking of where every time the girl had sex with someone, they died. Wasn't that in like American Horror Story?
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
In the 3rd season.
Yeah. Coven.
Yep. Sad.
So, yeah, we've talked a lot about private life at this point now. Mm-hmm. But much like many movies in the past that we've talked about, it's just hard to find words to properly articulate what the movie is. It's definitely good for what it is, but you have to kind of be expecting a very dry, grounded movie. There's nothing super fantasy-oriented about this movie. There's nothing thrilling about this movie.
It's a very realistic movie.
Right, with just super average protagonists that everybody can relate to.
Are you going to say who they are?
Who they are?
Yeah.
Catherine Hahn and Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Who I have heard.
Very well-known people.
Right. I saw one comment online say, Paul Giamatti has played the same roles for 30 years and he's looked 50 all 30 of them.
Paul Giamatti was in Big Fat Liar with
Wow.
Frankie Muniz.
What a prestigious role.
That's the first thing I saw him in.
Is it bad that I didn't know who either of those actors were? Catherine Hahn or Paul Giamatti?
You didn't recognize them, or you just plain don't know
I just
who they
plain
are?
don't know who they are.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, showing off my film knowledge here to all those listening.
Yeah, wow.
I'm a next level film buff.
That's bad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I can't always be perfect. Only 90% of the time.
Did you at least know who Molly Shannon was?
Click her for me.
She was the mom.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think so.
What?
Well, I haven't seen Will and Grace. I haven't seen Never Been Kissed. I haven't seen Superstar. I haven't seen Scary Movie 4.
I've seen all of those.
I've seen none of them. That's just kind of in the not geared towards me
She
category.
was in Saturday Night Live for like a long time.
I really haven't watched much Saturday Night Live. I know some. Well, I mean, it makes sense that she's in there because
No.
she was in Superstar, so obviously.
Yeah. That was a long time ago, though. You were too young to watch Saturday Night Live then.
Oh, but you weren't?
No.
Oh, even though you're
I was
younger
never
than...
too young to watch anything. But no, I didn't watch Saturday Night Live when I was 5. Because why would I? I wouldn't get
don't know.
anything.
Wow, look, Pierce Brosnan and Destiny's Child. There's an episode.
Oh. Gotta see that one. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. And there was another character as well, another fairly major character, their step
Their
niece.
niece.
Yeah, not full-blooded biological niece, step niece. Who, for risk of spoiling the plot a little bit for you here, I mean, she plays such a major part. I don't feel bad about letting this one out of the box. She basically says that she'll help them with an egg. She's gonna donate an egg to them, and then that just kind of progresses there. Yeah, don't you love how I said that?
Help them with an egg.
She's going to help them get an egg. She's going to go to the grocery store, pick up a dozen, and then they'll see which one works.
That was gonna be funny, but...
Have you seen that Bob's Burgers ad where
No.
the mom sings, oh, they're trying to get a chicken to lay an egg, so the wife's like, make an egg roll from your egg hole.
Ew. No.
What? I got the tune wrong, I believe. It's probably a different tune. But
I wouldn't
tried.
know, so...
You should watch Bob's Burgers. It's pretty good.
I did a couple of times.
He's Bob, and he makes burgers.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's H. John Benjamin, so it's obviously the greatest show on the planet.
Who's that?
Archer.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate that show.
Why do you hate Archer?
Because it's stupid.
Do you know how many stupid things you watch on a regular basis?
Yeah, sure. But I like them.
That makes it a poor argument when you yourself peruse stupid media.
Fine! I don't find it funny. Is that good enough? What other reason do I have to watch a comedy that I don't find funny? That's all there is.
No.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sad. You made me sad. Congratulations.
Okay.
Now I'm going to cry for the rest of the podcast. This is now a crying podcast. When was the best time you ever cried?
The best time?
Yeah.
What?
When you were like, dang, that was a good cry. I feel so refreshed after that.
I don't know. I don't usually feel refreshed after I cry.
Oh, sorry. Maybe it's just me. No, I don't.
When
I don't
was your
usually-
last time?
The last time I cried?
And you felt refreshed?
When you called me an asshole at work, and then I cried at my desk for
Shut
4
up.
hours.
You did not.
Yeah, I had to actually take a few hours of sick time there because I couldn't work.
You were being a smart ass.
I was simply trying to find you the biggest lake. It's not on Earth. Anyway, now that we've gone completely away from any context that anybody will understand, that's some good podcasting right there. Whew!
Woo!
Woo! Ric Flair was not in this movie.
I like that video where it says something about dogs. When you see your dog neighbor or something.
And then it's Ric Flair wooing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that other guy, too.
Oh, yeah. Like Ric Flair and Jay Lethal wooing back and forth.
What does it say? What does the caption say?
I don't remember. And I just barely remembered there was Ric Flair and Jay Lethal in the
So
greatest
funny.
segment in TNA history. Thank you, Mr. Lethal. And thank you, Space Mountain.
Okay.
Oldest ride, longest line.
What?
Yeah, that's what Ric Flair says. Space Mountain, oldest ride, longest line.
Jeez. Okay.
What else would you like to say about Private Life?
I don't know. I didn't say much.
You have to say at least 2 more things about Private Life until we can move on.
This is bad.
The movie?
No. You putting me on the spot.
Oh, well, I mean, it is a talk show with the 2 of us, so talk. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
It's an alright movie. If it sounds like the kind of thing that you're interested in, if you yourself are going through a phase of being completely sterile, then maybe this movie will make you hopelessly depressed, or maybe it will give you hope. I don't know. I'm not trying to have a baby, so I can't really comment on any of that. But it's a movie. You may find some enlightening scenes from it, but if you're looking for some thrilling Sunday night entertainment, probably go for something else.
It almost doesn't even have, like, your regular storyline, plot line. This is nice in the beginning, and then there's some conflict in the middle, and then they resolve it at the end, and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't follow that.
Yeah, it's just kind of one everlasting conflict that
it's
never...
kind of like Napoleon Dynamite.
Storytelling-wise, yeah. So, congratulations. That's why we can pull those keycaps off.
Felina, get the crumbs out of my keyboard.
Kitty. But yeah, so that's our final say about Privati La Fille.
Please don't do that.
I'm trying to give us
Private
a little bit
life.
of spice into this.
We have enough.
I don't know. On a spice level, we're currently sitting at like a salt and pepper. We could be sitting at like a paprika. Or like a chili pepper.
I don't like either of those.
Oh. No. We need to hit Carolina Reaper levels of spice on this podcast here.
No.
Which means we need cool names. From now on, I'll be known as...
No!
Why can't I have nice,
We don't
fun...
need names.
We don't need any names.
Come on now.
Wow. You're just excited to talk about the
What?
next movie.
Yeah, I am.
Well, if you read the title of this podcast episode, you know what this movie is. We thought that this was going to be like our headlining episode this week.
Our headlining movie this week.
Our headlining episode this year. No, our headlining movie this week, yeah. But
Because of all those ads we saw.
yeah, but we kind of got thrown a curveball here. This movie is A Star Is Born. And this is the 4th A Star Is Born movie. It has been remade 3 times. One in the 30s, 50s, 70s, and now this one here.
Wow.
Although I heard that the 70s one with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson was an unmitigated disaster, according to one critic. So,
What does unmitigated mean?
not fixed up, not...
Not flashy.
right, exactly. Not properly polished and all of that. And then Judy Garland was in the one in the 50s.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Judy Garland and James Mason. And then some people who nobody knows in the very first one in the 30s.
That's funny because when she was singing in the beginning, I thought she sounded like Judy Garland. And I almost leaned over and said it to you, but then I didn't.
Wow.
So I didn't think you'd think anything of it.
I probably wouldn't have, to be honest.
Yeah, so I just kept it to myself.
So if you've seen any of the previous A Star Is Born movies, you know kind of what you're getting into. You know the general plot outline. I mean, the trailers do a great job of telling you the general plot outline without revealing too much. They were actually really good trailers.
Yeah, they were.
There was a lot of movie left to see that I didn't see heads or tails of in the trailers, and that is how you make a trailer. You get everybody interested, you make it this big thing, and then it's like, oh, we actually only showed you what happens in like the first half hour. Get ready.
Yeah, I was so excited because I thought it was going to be the ending when, in the trailer they bring her up on stage, and I was like, oh, there's the ending of the movie, I guess. And no, it wasn't. It was just the beginning.
Yeah, it just goes from there. I will say, before I go any further, that this was an absolutely exceptional movie. This is the kind of movie that you watch, and then when you leave the theater, you just feel like you're kind of on this high for a little bit afterwards. And you can't stop thinking about it. And then you wake up the next morning, and then you still think, oh man, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really good stuff there.
Yeah, you want to see it again?
I got things to do. Sorry. Maybe when it's out on Blu-ray.
Oh,
and then it's not fresh in my mind anymore. I like to have a little bit of a gap between seeing movies.
I don't.
Wow. And honestly, it kind of defied a lot of odds in becoming such a great movie. I mean, let's see. It's Bradley Cooper's debut directorial film. He's never directed anything before. He also did the screenplay.
I thought he did direct something else.
Did he? Click his
I thought
name.
so.
Click that Bradley
Click his
Cooper name. And then scroll down.
Director.
Yeah.
Oh. For some reason, I thought he had directed something else.
Nope.
Maybe he, maybe he did something else, like produced it or something.
Yeah, but anyone can get production credits.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Producer, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Which means effectively nothing in the world of Hollywood.
Anyway, continue your thought.
Right, yeah. So, Bradley Cooper's debut direction job, him playing an alcoholic country rock star, and then Lady Gaga playing the most grounded role you've ever seen her play and absolutely nailing it. There was nothing over the top about Lady Gaga's character in this movie.
I think this was her first, leading role, too, wasn't it?
In a movie, yeah.
Yeah, in a movie.
Yeah, I want to say so. Clearly alien on TV monitors, uncredited in Men in Black 3, was her first leading role. But yeah, she absolutely killed it. I was so worried that there would be a lot of portions of this movie where I'd be like, oh yeah, there's Lady Gaga on screen being Lady Gaga, but I never once thought that's Lady Gaga. She was so convincing as the role of Allie, and it was just wonderful. And such a great backing cast, too. You got Sam Elliott, Andrew Dice Clay, Dave Chappelle, and then smaller cameo roles from the likes of Alec Baldwin, Marlon Williams, Brandy Carlisle, just great little
Halsey.
Cameos all over here. Yeah, Halsey, if you're into that, I guess. She's kind of we don't talk about Halsey. But fantastic movie, regardless. Just, man, there's so much I want to say about it that I don't know where to start. The music, I'll start there with the music, because obviously people are going to be interested. Well, it's about someone becoming a music star. How's the music? I was super worried, since it says that he's a country singer, I was worried that it was going to be like country, but no, it's really more of like a southern rock driven, country influenced kind of thing. He's soloing the whole time. It's kind of got an attitude, and yeah, it's got just a little bit of that country twang to it, but nothing that completely turns me off to it. Like, this isn't any worse than anything that you'd find on your average Skynyrd album.
I don't listen to them.
But you are aware of Lynyrd Skynyrd, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, so there you go. If you know what Freebird is. Yes, they sing Freebird, they sing Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh,
they sing
okay.
Simple Man. To be a simple kind of man.
No, I don't know that.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Weird. But yeah, they have a lot of big hits. And it was more in that vein, and that made it so much more palatable. And then, of course, the character of Allie, when she becomes a star, they just, like, put her, like, total pop all the way. Breaking down everything she stood for. Not super, but, you know. There's a lot of...
Spoil the movie.
You always tell me that, and I never go as far as you think I'm going to. You can stop warning me. I know how to run this podcast.
Sometimes.
All the time. I speak 98% of the words.
So?
I'm getting used to the talking. I was on a track there, sort of vibing. It's derailed now.
Vibing?
Yeah, vibing all the way. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. What do you want to say about this movie? You looked excited to get to this one.
I'm actually excited to see this movie, and I really liked it. And I liked the music. I liked them. I liked that I only saw the first 30 minutes of the trailer. I like Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
This is the kind of deep analysis that you come to this podcast for.
Yeah, that's what you get when you tell me to talk.
I liked it. Solid, good B minus.
It's one of our highest rated movies on IMDb on the podcast.
Yeah, 8.5 out of 10 right now. That's mad good.
I liked how much they stuck together as a couple.
Yeah.
It was almost like they met and they were like literally magnets, and that's it. They were going to be together forever.
Yeah, there was no... I was so worried that there was going to be like a big, long, exhausting, breakup sequence where it's like, oh no, they're moving out, and now they're all sad, and blah, blah, blah. But it never turned out that way, and that was definitely for the best. I was thrilled that I didn't have to sit through that kind of exhausting, tired, cliched storyline.
They were very, very supportive of each other.
Right, even when they maybe shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And that was refreshing. The entire movie was just refreshing. Make no mistake, it's not always happy and always uplifting the entire time. This movie, it does things to you at some points. That's the most I'll say. If you already know how the story ends, well then, you know generally what's going to happen towards the end. And actually the only movie of the four that ends a little bit differently is the Chris Christopherson, Barbra Streisand one, which is maybe part of why it was a little bit panned.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that later. Off
No, you
microphone.
won't.
Oh yeah, I will.
You're going to bring this up later?
Absolutely. Right after this episode's done, I'll be like, so, what I was saying is this happens.
You're going to add that on to the end of this episode?
No, I'm going to tell you after it's done.
See, when you said you, I thought you were talking to the listeners.
Well, I made eye contact with you and I said you.
I wasn't looking at you.
Oh! I expect to be gazed upon at all hours of the day.
Well, I'm not Connor, okay? I can't just stare at you all day.
Connor's a baby, by the way. For anyone who doesn't know. He's at the point where all he can really do with his life is look at things and pee.
But he stares at you when you hold him, and it's so cute. He's so cute.
Someday in the future, when we have our B Critics mega corporation and we're billionaires, he'll be looking back at our archives and he'll see this episode and he'll be like, that's me, I'm famous. You heard it here first. B Critics mega corporation. Get ready for it. We'll have hats and sweaters for you to buy. That's it.
Connor's our nephew, by the way.
Yeah, he's a baby and he's our nephew. And he looks at things.
He's so cute.
Connor was not in A Star Is Born because he's too young to be in movies like this.
No, that's not true. They have almost newborn babies in movies.
Well, the talent agency apparently was not interested in him this time around.
He's a normal baby.
But yeah, going back to the supporting cast, Sam Elliott. That man As long as we're talking about actors who have been the same age for the past 20 years. Sam Elliott has not changed a beat. He's still the same old kind of cowboy feeling character, just full of wise words of wisdom with a little bit of grizzle under him. And anyone who knows Dave Chappelle is always going to like Dave Chappelle, pretty much no matter what he does. He's just a charismatic man. And I'm not as familiar with the Dice Man, but people who are into him loved his role in this movie as
Dice Man.
Lady Gaga's dad. Yeah, that's what he's known as.
Look at how young he is.
No, it's such. He looks like John Travolta dressed up as Vanilla Ice.
Okay.
Let me get back onto a track here. These tracks just keep flying away, and I'm derailing my own train time after time. Good music, good plot. It's wonderful. It's one of those movies that is over 2 hours long. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long. It's a long movie. And when it finished, I was almost like, that could have been longer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, normally when you see a movie in the theater, at least a couple of times you think, oh, it's probably about whatever time now. Oh, there's probably like half an hour left. Oh, whatever. And neither of us thought that through the entire movie.
Right.
And I always think about what time it is.
I was just entranced through the whole thing. Like, time did not exist while I was watching this movie. Usually, if it's a movie, especially if it's something garbage like Mile 22 or something, I'll be glancing around the theater. I'll just be looking up in the corner of the ceiling for, like, some reason, because I'm just... I don't know, I'm just truly not going with what's going on the screen. I'm just not enthralled with it at all. But with this movie, there was no looking away. I was like face front and center staring at the screen for pretty much the entire runtime of the movie. I could not look away. I did not want to look away. I was gripped thoroughly.
That's how you can tell a great movie, is when time doesn't exist while you watch it.
Exactly.
Because time is precious to everyone.
Except to a Time Lord.
I'm not reacting to that.
Why not? Come on! Yeah.
We are not the same, Paul.
Yeah, but, you know, the audience will laugh if you laugh, so then they'll be like, wow, that was kind of funny, but now they're just going to be like, wow, Paul's sense of humor is the worst, I hate him.
They'll probably laugh more if I don't laugh.
So, if you're here watching and you laughed at that comment, drop a like, drop a comment, tell your friends, and give us $100.
No.
That's the only way I can do it.
Don't ask people for money.
You can send us a money order at B Critics Lane, Los Angeles, California.
I wish. I want to move there.
No, it's gonna get consumed by the ocean soon.
I want to live in the warmth and the fun.
But it's gonna get consumed by the ocean soon.
I want to go to Disneyland.
It's about to be Atlantis World soon.
That's why we need to go there now.
Anyway, man, I feel like I need to talk about this movie more because we're a little lagging on our time here.
But you don't want to say too much about it. It's just a good movie. You should go see it.
Exactly. I don't want to ruin anything for anyone here. Just know that it has my full seal of approval, my ringing endorsement. I've seen some people be all like, yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a great movie. And it's like, you know what? I can't think of any problems I had with it. I can't think of any glaring faults. The way that the characters talk, like, this is the first movie where I've ever seen characters regularly just like have a conversation and then they're all like, oh wait, sorry, what? I'm sorry, what was that? And then they just like say the line over again. It doesn't happen in movies, and it was just one of those little things I noticed where I was like, this is so real feeling. This is so down to earth.
It was magical.
Magical, like in Cinderella, when the carriage was turned into a pumpkin.
What?
That was magical.
That It's sad.
or magical.
It's the sad part.
Like in Harry Potter. Well, this movie is a sad part too. Sometimes.
It's sad sometimes, it's happy sometimes, it's all over.
That's true.
That's what makes it great.
Yeah. It brings you all around with your emotions without resorting to cheap tricks.
Yeah.
Cheap. Oh, this character did this, so now you have to be mad.
Oh, they broke up because she thought he said this thing, but he really didn't say it.
Yeah. I mean, make no mistake, both characters make some pretty brutal mistakes throughout this movie. But they're handled in ways that actual human beings might handle mistakes instead of robots who are like, malfunction, relationship terminated.
You can't keep saying stuff like that and then like pausing.
You know, it's like a laugh track. I'm giving the listeners a chance to laugh with their 36 friends that they're listening to this with.
Okay.
Did you know that bee critics parties are a very popular thing that are on the rise now? Yeah, they're happening in the West Coast, East Coast. People gather into each other's swanky penthouses, put on an episode of the Bee Critics, drink their favorite Chardonnay.
No one's gonna do that if we don't even have a penthouse.
We have a real house. It's even better.
I want a penthouse!
We have even more room.
I want that apartment in New York where you can see the whole Central Park. Why did you bring that up?
I'm sorry.
I want it.
It's alright. By the time we get to episode 17, we'll definitely be able to afford it.
17?
Yep. I'm putting it on you, listeners. You've got 5 episodes to make us famous.
The penthouse I want's like $80 million.
Easy. First, you just have to make $1 million, and then you just do that 80 times.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, super simple.
Why didn't I think of that?
Basic mathematics is all it is.
But really, I want to go to Central Park. And you're going to take me.
I'm going to take you.
Yeah.
It's funny because there was a time where I brought up the concept of going to New York City and you were like, no, absolutely not. No.
I can grow as a person.
Well, that's good to hear. That's fantastic. I'm so glad.
Just like you can grow to love cruises.
I didn't say I love the concept yet. I said I am trying to adapt my way of thinking to suit you with a better life.
Yeah, see? And you used to say, no, I'm never going on a cruise. Ew.
Well, okay. It's because you are a very poor salesperson. I ask you what's so great about a cruise, and you say you can look at the water.
That's because that's the best part.
I ask anybody else what can you do on a cruise, and they say, oh, you can eat a ton of food. You can do this. You can go do this. This is available. It's like, well, okay, that sounds a little more exciting instead of you can look at water for 6 days.
But when you ask me, I'm just going to tell you the things that I want to do.
And that's why you're a terrible salesperson.
Because I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking, but I can look at the water all day and you can allow that to happen. Wouldn't that be nice? I'll be so happy.
I told you I can take you up to Mille Lacs.
No.
You can look at the lake.
I don't want to go to Mille Lacs Lake.
Why not?
Because I've been there a million times. Yeah. And then I said I want to go to Lake Superior, the biggest lake. And then that's when he brought up the fucking plant, whatever you said earlier.
Yeah.
I called you an asshole.
I said the biggest lake is on a planet. That is not this.
Is not on our planet, he said. Smart ass. Lake Superior is like 2 hours from here. It's not even that hard to get there. And you won't bring me there?
I mean, not this moment. No. We got things to do. Like, wrap up our thoughts about A Star is Born.
No, we're not going to work tomorrow. We're going to Lake Superior. I
have to go to work.
No.
They'll fire me if I don't show up.
No, they won't.
That's true. They'll slap me on the wrist and then they'll be like, don't do it again.
You don't even have to call in if you're not going to work. You just enter it on your app.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it works now that I'm in like a different area though, but I'm not about to tell you all about my work life. It's become a very incredibly bland and horrible episode. So, I repeat, what would you like to wrap up A Star is Born with?
It's one of my favorites that we've done. I've been looking forward to it the whole time we've been doing this.
Yeah, because we've seen trailers for it before every single movie we've ever seen.
No, but probably every week we've seen trailers for it.
I'm convinced it's been every movie.
Sometimes twice a week.
Gosh.
And it lived up to the hype.
Thank God the trailers are over, though. I was just about done. I said how good the trailer was, but when you see it multiple times a week, you're like, alright, that's enough. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die.
I bet Paul could quote the trailer word for word.
Gosh, I'm not going to try. But,
I bet you could.
Maybe.
Okay.
So that leads us to our third and final movie.
Which we said earlier that it was weird because we thought this was going to be the top movie because we saw so many trailers for it, and we saw like maybe 3 trailers for Venom.
And there was a lot of really bad surrounding buzz to it too. But
And it was a bad trailer.
It was a really terrible trailer. But here we are. We are Venom. Was that less Macho Man that time?
Just a little bit.
Ah, good. That's all that matters.
There was still some in there.
Ah, dang it. But yeah, this movie was like a cursed movie from the very get-go. There was no positivity about this movie at all. People were like, what is Tom Hardy doing? Such a talented actor, throwing his career away with a terrible Sony Venom movie with no Spider-Man. And it was kind of easy to get caught up in the anti-hype. It was easy to be like, hey, yeah, that is really stupid. Why are they doing that?
Hey, it's the next Green Lantern.
Exactly. People even went as far to call it the next Catwoman. Which, you gotta reach real abysmal lows to get to that point. Because of all the anti-hype surrounding this movie, I went into it genuinely expecting something absolutely irredeemable. I thought it was going to be total trash, and as a result, by the time the movie ended, I was actually kind of pleased. Now, I'm not going to say that this is like the superhero movie of the year or anything, or of any year, really, but it was remarkably passable. And when you're going into a movie expecting absolute garbage and you get passable, that's not a bad deal, actually.
Yeah, what did that just happen with before?
I don't have the list in front of me, so I couldn't tell you.
There it is.
Oh, The Predator.
Oh, yeah.
But this I had even...
And Night School.
Yeah. But this I had even lower expectations for, and I liked more than Night School. To be honest. I gotta think of a launching point here.
Symbiote.
Yeah, everybody's first big problem was, of course, it's Venom without Spider-Man. What's the point? And they honestly did a good job of filling that void by making most of the movie, or at least most of the movie that Venom is actually in. It takes a while to get going. This is a slow starting movie. But once Venom enters the picture, they make it really more about the dynamic of Eddie Brock and Venom getting used to each other, feeling each other out, and sharing a body.
Is it supposed to be Venom getting into Spider-Man?
There
Or
are
they enemies?
multiple symbiotes. I believe at some point in the comics, the Venom symbiote did get into Spider-Man, but for the most part, Venom was inside Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock was a Daily Bugle reporter, and since Peter Parker took pictures for the Daily Bugle, they knew each other that way, and Eddie Brock was kind of a skis-ball fuck-up a lot of the time.
Oh, so they were enemies.
They weren't, like, enemies. I mean, maybe in some storylines. Keep in mind, comic books, with all the different parallel, universes and retellings of storylines, a lot of the characterization can change. There were actually some comic book storylines, though, where Venom and Spider-Man actually teamed up to fight, like, a greater evil. But most of the time, Venom was an antagonist.
Why did people think it would be pointless without him then, if he was doing his own thing?
Venom debuted in a Spider-Man comic and was predominantly featured in Spider-Man comics. There may have been a few limited runs that were just about Venom, but for the most part, Venom was paired with Spider-Man almost all the time.
Speaking of comics, when we went to the theater, it was the 3D showing and we got free comic books with them.
It's the coolest thing I've ever gotten just for, like, going to a movie. They're not big comics or anything. They're just a few pages, and they're basically just scenes from the movie. But as far as theater swag, it was a really cool thing to hand out, and I am pleased with it. I usually never get feelies when I go to a movie, and this feelie is particularly high quality and neat, so that is a thrilling little addition.
These theaters for A Star Is Born and Venom have been the most full that we've seen, like, the entire time we've been doing this.
Yeah, like, October is supposed to be this dead void of nothing coming out, and it's like the no man's land of movie release season, and in the same week, Venom and A Star Is Born, popularity 1 and popularity 2 on the IMDb charts, like right next to each other. Venom is grossing considerably more, which is, again, amazing.
4 times as much.
Yeah, it's making so much money, and no one has any idea why. Well, I mean, again, it just came out being okay. I was immediately turned off to the movie in the trailer because they made the huge mistake of marketing the turd in the wind line.
Oh god, that was the worst line in the whole movie. And they put it in the trailer!
Yeah, it was at the end of the movie, in the trailer, and the worst line of the movie. Everything about that trailer was completely botched. Everything about that line was botched. That was by far the worst part of the movie. That and the garbage Eminem track that played during the credits.
I don't remember that.
Venom! Get him! Venom!
I don't remember that at all.
Really terrible song. Really bad. So that was the first problem, is they made, like, they gave all the dumbest lines highlights in the trailers, which had me going, oh, no. But then when you see the movie and everything is laid out in context, Venom himself lets out such fantastic deadpan one-liners throughout the whole movie. And the way that Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, responds to them is always great. And that was the best thing about this movie, I say again, was the dynamic between the two. They were hilarious together, even though it was just Tom Hardy playing off of Tom Hardy.
She belongs with us.
Yes, she belongs with us. And it was, yeah. Tom Hardy, I'm convinced, just can do no wrong. He's good in, like, everything I see him in. He's great in The Revenant. He was great in Mad Max. Even as Bane, he was quite good in The Dark Knight Rises.
Jeez.
And people were a little put off by his accent in the trailers, but it really wound up not being that bad in the movie itself. He didn't...
I don't remember him having an accent.
He was all like, my name's Eddie Brock, and I'm a reporter.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, but he was fortunately able to enunciate his R's in the full movie. So that was fortunate for the entire world. Yeah, gosh, everything about this movie just came out much better than I would have ever hoped. The action was fun. The whirling, extending symbiote, destroying everything in its path. Yeah, the one... Well, not one major criticism, but one of the major criticisms that I would give it is that you can definitely tell that it was supposed to be R and was recut. There were, like, blatant what the fucks that were, like, cut off to just what the... And then, like, a scene change. Or like a shot change, and it was like, that feels super edited.
I didn't notice that.
I did. And then a lot of the kills, like, I mean, Venom's big thing is, you know, he, like, eats people's heads, and then he, like, eats bodies, and fortunately not all of the head eating was off camera, which I thought it would be, but it was pretty bloodless. Probably the most safe, friendly looking head biting you've ever seen. Nothing that tried to really push the envelope. For a PG-13 movie, it was pretty brutal, and was probably pushed the envelope of PG-13, I would say, in terms of the profanity usage and the violence throughout.
But it was nowhere near blood levels of The Predator.
Right, which was R. So, obviously Predator, if they did PG-13 Predator, nobody would have gone to see it.
Is there like a level of blood that's allowed in PG-13 movies?
Oh yeah, there probably is, but it's probably just totally arbitrary. Just like how there's only a certain amount of blood that's allowed in R-rated movies until it goes to like an NC-17 rating.
Yeah, that's why Kill Bill is black and white for that portion.
And it's why Ichi the Killer is NC-17. The most violent movie ever made.
I'd like to see an NC-17 movie get a wide theatrical release.
Yeah, unfortunately, theaters just don't have the balls to do it.
Why?
I have no idea, really. They just don't want to be associated with them normally.
Well, I want to see one.
Normally they're just like, get this, yeah, we don't show that movie because we're good, upstanding, moral citizens.
What does that even mean?
NC-17?
Yeah.
I have no idea what it stands for. All I know is that it replaced X. Which is a shame, because X was a much better rating. Rated X!
That sounds very sexual, though.
I mean, it was made for sexual movies, predominantly. But now it's rare that movies even get that rating, because generally, if they're shipped off to the MPAA or MPAA, it's usually with the intention of getting it into a theater.
Yeah, they'll just get their R rating, and then they'll just get their unrated
Exactly.
release.
Exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure that the house that Jack built is just unrated. Like, they're probably not even going to bother getting an MPAA rating for that one, because they know it's never going to get into a theater.
That's too bad.
But back to Venom. The ending especially, I heard some people complain about the ending fight between Venom and the other symbiote Riot. They said it was really difficult to follow, and it was. The fact that Venom is like black and Venom was like, and Riot was gray, did make it a little bit difficult to follow.
They're both just like goo.
Yeah, but the way that they had like the action shots freeze and then pan around as you just kind of watch this wild CGI madness unfold before you, it was really cool looking. All the symbiote stuff was super cool looking. I was amazed at how expensive the CGI looked, actually. I was expecting some way cheaper, worse looking CGI, but for the most part it looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! Did you disagree that CGI looked cool? You're like the ultimate... That looked so fake.
Yeah, but this is not something that... It's not like a human where it's really easy to tell when there's CGI, or like buildings are really easy to tell and stuff like that. It's like a creature, so that's what it is.
Speaking of, how'd you feel about the Samuel L. Jackson de-aging in the Captain Marvel trailer?
He looked pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
They do a good job of that, except the first time I saw it, it looked kind of bad.
It was still pretty early technology the first time they tried to use it, though, too.
And Michael Douglas.
Yeah, they've made pretty big strides since then.
Yeah, it looked pretty good.
So yeah, that's also coming up. Captain Marvel, dang. Now, the big question is, what is Sony planning with Venom at this point now? Are they gonna just keep expanding their own individual Venomverse? There was a post-credits scene that kind of was a little bit of sequel bait, teasing a potential sequel. Other people have said that it may not be a bad idea to translate Venom into the Spider-Verse with the animated movie that's coming out later this year. Other people yet have said that the long con might be to attempt to integrate Venom into the actual MCU, have Tom Hardy play alongside Tom Holland. The two Toms.
I think they should keep him in his own thing and bring back Tobey Maguire.
All right, that's enough from you.
I love him.
You can get out of here.
I love him.
Dude, you had to give me Spider-Man 3 flashbacks.
Yeah.
No.
The best one.
No. No. It's the worst by far.
I like him when he's emo.
The dancing in the street, finger gunning people. Like, no. All right.
Yeah.
Marvel, if you're listening, don't ever give my wife any input into your future plans. She's just gonna make you hire Tobey Maguire.
Bring back Toby!
No! No! If only we could combine Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to get the perfect Spider-Man.
I just like Toby. Actually, I really like Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's great.
So cute.
He's a very different Spider-Man, but I really like the take on it. And it would be definitely weird to see Tom Holland and Tom Hardy in action scenes against each other or something like that. That would be...
He's huge.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, Tom. Especially, when he turns into Venom, too, and he just is even huger. Mm-hmm. I loved how Venom looked in this movie. He was sufficiently big and hulking. And at first, I was almost disappointed that it wasn't going to be a little bit more dark and serious. But now, in retrospect, I'm like, everything tries to go grim, dark, and serious. I mean, that's
what ruins movies.
That's why the DC movies are so bad. They take themselves so seriously.
I haven't seen them.
Like, Batman vs. Superman was like the most humorless, this is a serious matter movie ever. And like, every scene was like pitch black.
See, that would have just ruined this movie and made it exactly how stupid it looked.
Right, I know. And that's why, in retrospect, I am actually happy that they took a more lighthearted approach, gave Venom a sense of humor. Tom Hardy was funny when he was trying to be funny. It was a good time. It was a much better time than I had anticipated, and you know what? I'm happy for it. Venom is such an iconic and fantastic Marvel character. I'm currently reading through the Marvel Master Reading List, and I cannot wait to get to the 90s so I can dive into Venom a little bit more heavily. But being that I'm in 1968 right now, that's going to take me a while.
When did you say he comes?
Like the early 90s.
Oh.
But yeah, he's such a great, enduring character.
He's our age.
Yeah, Venom's as old as me. Hooray! Yeah. And honestly, if you like superhero movies, just see Venom. Don't be too worried about what the reviews say. It's currently got a Metascore of 35 out of 100, but an IMDb rating of 7.1 out of 10. So it's one of those, the critics who are like, oh, but is it a good movie? Yeah, there are problems with it. The plot essentially doesn't matter. The villain is like mustache-twirlingly evil. It's like, I'm doing bad things for the sake of doing bad things. Because I'm evil.
I need a snack.
Yeah, right. Yeah, weak villain, some weak supporting characters, weak overall plot, and yet...
But it knows that, so it's funny.
Right. It embraces that. It's like, you know what? If we're not gonna be great, let's be fun. And that's all you can ask for from a movie sometimes. So... good on you, Venom.
The smartest thing to do.
It really
if you know
was.
You're not going to be good, you need to be good as in like traditional great. You need to be good some other way.
Right. And that's why I'm so happy with it. It's like, Venom's great. Everybody wants Venom to be great. And it's not a great movie, but it's so much better than I thought.
So last episode we were wrong because we said it wasn't going to be like Night School where we thought it would be bad, but it was good.
And I'm glad I was wrong. Really, this movie was like the equivalent of when you this movie was kind of like getting a shot and you're expecting it to hurt a lot, and then like the needle's in and you don't even notice it, and then they pull it out and your shot's done and you're like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. That's relieving. That's how this movie made me feel. It actually was. Like, I was expecting to be in, like, pain the entire time, being like, why is this movie so bad? And then it ended, and then I'm just angry the whole night.
Unless you're getting one of those stomach shots, like in Private Life.
Yeah, apparently. Those are terrible.
Jab 'em in.
Yeah. Any last words you have about Venom?
I guess I liked it. That's it.
No, that's it. Wow. Okay. Oh. Well done, Tom Hardy.
What else can I say? You've already said everything.
Yeah. I found more stuff to say about this than A Star Is Born, I feel, which just feels weird.
That's because, I don't know.
I have more passion.
More about Marvel.
I have more passion in my heart for Venom than I do for A Star Is Born. Must be it.
Wow.
Thank you, you big hulking symbiote man. Go back to our film plan. sheet there. All right. I don't think that.
Ow.
I don't think that week's gonna change any. Do you? I think that's
It might. The dates may have changed.
okay.
We don't know what's going to be next.
But the headlining movie should be the same, right?
I think so.
Okay.
You
Well.
can say maybe.
Okay. So I'll give you a might sneak peek into next week. Next week, you might just get to see us talk about bad times at the El Royale, which I am looking forward to quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, you know how to do a good trailer is the first one they released. You don't know what the fuck the movie's about, and that's just what a trailer should be.
Not the second or third trailers, which gave you way too much information.
Yeah!
Ugh. But yeah, so look out for that. That is the end of your... This isn't episode 12, this is episode 13. I've been saying it wrong the whole episode.
It's episode 12!
Oh, yeah. I looked at the... So that is the end of your 12th episode of The Bee Critics. If you enjoyed it, I'm glad. If you didn't enjoy it, I hate you too. I'm kidding. I don't hate anyone. You can have whatever feelings you want to have.
You hate
about
somebody.
this podcast.
At least somebody.
Who do I hate?
I don't know. But
Exactly,
there's at
because
least
there's
someone.
nobody.
You're not that nice.
Thank you for listening. You have yourself a fantastic rest of your day doing whatever you're doing in the free world, and we'll see you next week.